This is Saturday, September the 17th, 2016. My name is Robbie Luckett. We are at the Smith Robertson Museum and Cultural Center. First of all, do I have your permission to record this interview?
Yes.
Could you begin by telling me your name and spelling it?
Ida Jackson, IDA-MAE-JACKSON.
And yourself?
I'm Natalie Stevens, her sister. My name is Natalie T. Stevens, and it's M-A-T-T-I-E, T initial, S-T-E-V-E-N-S.
I'd like to begin, just have you tell us a little bit about where you're from, your parents, how you grew up. Either one of you could start.
Okay. We're from Satasha, out in Yazoo City. And we was living in a big house with my great-grandmama lives in there. And she was a real Indian. I got a picture of her. And my granddad was living in there. My grandmama was living in there. My uncle and my daddy and my mother and my auntie and us 5 children born in there from my mother and my daddy. And I thought one time my auntie was my mother because she was a young lady in the house and she paid us a lot of attention. And everybody went to the cotton field. And but great-grandmama, she stayed in the house and watched us and took care of us while they would out the cotton field. And I understand that the cotton field belonged to my granddad. And so we grew up in that house till I got 3 years old. And I had 2 sisters over me. Named them Carrie Beatrice Thompson and Georgia May Thompson. And me, myself, Ida Jackson. And then Marie, my sister, Thompson, and my brother, George Lee Thompson. And so we all had lived right on the Wolf Lake, called it Wolf Lake. And my granddaddy and my daddy and all of them, they gig for fish, frogs, honey, sold they pies from the property, to the city and made extra money. And then we had a big home out there for the homes, and we was already on the lake. And we had the home with a red barn that we put hay in. My granddaddy had a tractor and he worked in the field, and he had horses, cows. My mother and my auntie, they milked cows, they had children milk. My grandmama, she was named Carrie Beatrice Thompson. And she made beer. She had a vineyard out there, like plums, apple trees, and grapevines, and peach trees, and all like that. And we had peanuts and all like that. We killed the hogs, we ate hogs, and we had to cross the what you call the lake to get to go to town up in Yazoo City, and anywhere else we wanted to go. And it was a old, raggedy, wooden crossway that we had to walk on. And the old folks, they hang up on the walkway. We go to their dress tail. And the frogs, snakes, and everything was hopping off down there, scaring me. And so, but we lived like that until they came along there and built a big dirt bank across there. And so then we was all right. We could drive a car across there then, and we would go out in the boat. My daddy and my granddad and all the old people used to go out in the boat.
We can tell that our grandfather built that bridge.
No, they built the bridge, and they go across there. Okay, for us to walk on, like with dirt from the out in the water, on up, big pile of dirt, so we can walk on those places like those Yazoo City and experience places like that. And did I say my grandmama made beer in the house?
Yes.
She made beer in the house. Out up in there. And we had smokehouse for the meat. We had a vegetable house where they cook the vegetable, they made chefs all around in there, and set the jars on, and how they did it, they fried the meat, hold the meat over the grease, and put a top on it, and turn the bottom up, and when the grease chilled, they would turn it back up, take the rag top off, and they would have to move out and spoil it. And we also bake that meat. They cook on it, hanging up in the smoking, smoking. We spoke fish and dried fish to eat. I was only 3 years old, but I remember all that. My mother, later on in life, I came to Jack to take care of my mother, and we was talking about this. She said, how do you remember all that? You were 3 years old, but I remember all that. And we used to play out there, and in the smokehouse, my sister that older than me, we would play hide and seek. And she would hide in one of the smoking houses and got up in there one time and ran into a snake. And she was up in there hollering and hollering and hollering, and we had to go let her out. We had to have her under thing playing hide and seek. Okay? And then we had all kind of ribbons and stuff raised in the garden and stuff like that. So sooner or later, my uncle, my daddy got called off to the army, and my uncle went, but my daddy didn't want to go. So he had to have some treatment for that. And so my mother and him separated at that time. And since my mom and him were separated, our uncle was going off to the army. Other uncle went off to the army, so we had to come to Flora, Mississippi to live with my mother's dad then. So he came over there to, I can't think of the name, but in Jersey City to pick us up. And we had to walk all the way from where we were living in Satasha in the hot sun, bare feet, and everything to meet him over in Jersey City with the truck, because he didn't know how to get down when we were sat down in there to get to us by the lake in front of the house. And so we came over there to live with him and his wife and his sister were living in the house. His wife's sister was living in the house. She was a special person in the house. They called them uniform people back then, but now since I'm in this job with the healthcare people now, we call them special people. So she was a special person in the house. And so when we had some more people come live with us, Annie Lee, and her 3 children. She had 3 then, I think. 2 girls and 1 boy. She may have had 4. 3 girls and 1 boy. They lived down in Jackson, so they would always come out and visit us, and we would go come to Jackson and visit again on weekends. And my mother was going to the cotton field to help my granddaddy and his wife out, which they call my grandmother. And I had to watch a special person in the house. So, and my brother was 7 months. She was 2. Man, Marie was 2, and I was 3. And I had to watch her when I got like 7 and 8 years old. While they go to the cotton field and get cotton. And we had chickens and hogs and cows there, fish, everything there too. So that's just about me until I got married at 17. No, we went to Benton State.
Yeah.
We had some, our granddaddy had 2 sisters lived together in Benton. And we would complain all the time about walking to school and everything through the pasture, them black cows with the long horns, and kicking in the dirt and going in the side of the dirt and everything. And I was scared of that, so we always started telling them about we didn't want to walk to school and all that stuff like that. We were going to Florida school. My brother couldn't go to Florida school. He had to go to the school in the little house that died in the pastor. And he wasn't old enough. And so we was complaining about that so much till our aunties say when they come over there and visit us, say, well, y'all scared to stay out there in that pasture. Y'all come and live with us until y'all mama get her another house out that pasture. And so we did. We came to Benton, Mississippi to live with them. We didn't have no son was living over there already with them. That's how we got to know him and a whole bunch of our family. And all the grats we lived over there. We had an auntie over there that had about 10 children this year. 10 or 11 children. So we got to walk to school with them, walk to church with them. And till I got 6 years old. And then we moved back. My mama was always writing a letter. And my auntie would say, she would read the letters to us. She said, your mama said she gonna come to visit y'all this Sunday. They call me T. It's supposed to be sweet. Cause my grandmama, I was her pet when we lived in Wisconsin. She named me Sweetie as a short name. But my sister, I'm older, next to her, she couldn't say Sweetie. She said T. So I grew up with that name T. So she said, T, don't you cry. Go back with your mama now. And my auntie told me when I was older, don't cry now. Go back to your mama. She gonna come through visit y'all. So my mama get ready to go home, I bust out the car. Till she came and got us after 2 years. Stayed over there in the school. That's how we got to learn all our people. And that was the experience that you really got like that.
Can you tell about your first child?
Oh, yeah.
First,
Yeah.
before we get there, can you tell me, you said your grandfather owned the cotton field.
I think he owned so much of that field.
How long had he lived there? Do you know when he,
So, we were born in the house.
and when were you born?
And we lived there. I was born in 1943, March the 8th. That was in the 40s. And that was way back then. So then came to Florida, and then we went back to Florida. And then when we went back to Florida, she had moved up the hill on 22, like one in Florida. So I got pregnant at 15 years old. And that's when I met this Perry Lee, the midwife. My brother had got big, and my mother sent him over there to the Mr. Abernathy's house, the main place that were watching over the cotton fields and stuff, to go to Florida to get the midwife for me to have my first child, which I loved you. Because I thought my grandma should have gave me that boy that I would take care of. Special, from the special gift. And so that's when I had heard about her, and Miss Patty, the midwife, cause she was, it was the lady next door to us had 14 children, and about one or two sets of twins. And this lady, Miss Patty, had always been going over there, and we were wondering why she'd go over there and she'd leave to be a baby. And a lot of people was telling us that the baby came in that black bag that she was carrying, but that was a tube that she worked with and all that stuff like that. And so,
And this is in Satartia?
no, this was in Florida.
In Florida.
After we moved to Florida,
Around the time.
around the time when I got pregnant with my first child. And excuse me. So they would tease us around until we teased them. Tell me about that lady brought me in a bag, in a black bag. And so when I had got pregnant, so my brother went over there and got her for me, and she came down. My baby was coming foot first, and she put some Menlol on my stomach and rubbed it round and round and round until she turned him around. That was a big experience for me. She turned him around and just pushed him, and he came out. He pushed him like he was supposed to come out.
When did you find out what the black bag was for?
After I had got pregnant, after I had got pregnant with my child, and I let my mama in and all like that. She told me, because I didn't even know I was pregnant. I told my mother, I said, every time I go to eat, I get sick and throw it up. She said, you ain't gonna throw it up. experience having a child to then, but that was a bad experience for me at being 15 years old. But it came by the hips of the Lord. It came out all right. And that boy come here weighing 10 pounds. 10 pounds. And I was so happy, but I couldn't sit down for a month.
And the midwife's name was Pat Lee?
Hair.
Lee
Para.
Peterson. And she's going to be one of your, some other women are going to interview for her.
For Miss Perry.
And did you meet her before your baby was due or just when?
I didn't really meet her. I just saw her going on there, and I know of her.
And dear,
And my mother. All the people took around there because she was waiting on everybody around there. And then I found out all about where baby come from and what happened and everything. Because I just only had that one experience with my boyfriend. And next thing I know, I was, like I said, having morning sickness, and my mama explained that to me.
the black baby, do you remember anything that was in, what she?
I know she pulled that mental oil out of there.
It's like mental.
Right.
Mental oil.
Oh, yes.
And she pulled that out of there, and I was waiting so bad. I wasn't looking too good, so she rubbed me with that, just turn that baby around with her hand. Can't go out.
Did she have anything to offer you for the pain? It must have been very painful.
It wasn't no pain until after you had the baby. The pain comes when you finna push to have the baby, and once he come out, the pain don't be there no more. You have the pain when you ready to sit down and you split. You know, if you have an oversized weight baby, you split.
It's her experience.
He splits down there. So that's the only pain I had after having the baby. Before I had regular pain that everybody had.
Did she have any other tools in her bag that she used?
I didn't pay no attention to that. I'm so glad to get that over with and get the feeling all right.
You just know she had that mental.
I know she had that
oil in her
milk on
bag.
because she put that in her hand and rubbed it on my stomach so till she just turned that baby and you feel it easing around. Choo.
How many children do you have?
4.
And did she deliver all 4 of them? Just one?
My husband, 18, after I got married at 17. My husband, 18, was a midwife. Her name was Berkeley Parker. Berkeley Parker. And she lived right in our yard. Her long lived up there. She lived right here. We lived in the back.
And
She
she was in Flora?
And
Or,
Miss Bertha Parker, talk about her.
yeah, Miss Bertha Lee Parker.
Berkeley Parker. I didn't ever get to see her too much after she delivered the baby, but she would deliver the baby too. But I had more experience with the first one than I did with this one. I was kind of known about what to do and how to do it. And so she just tell you push, 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 push a little more, push a little more.
This is Miss Parker.
This was mom. Push a little more, push a little more. That baby just comes to life.
And how many children did she deliver for you?
3.
Wow. And how did you pay the midwives?
Now I had insurance with this last one, my 18, but
And who was the insurance through?
I don't know. I don't forget that. They've been a long, they've been 50 some years ago.
Was it pretty common for women to have insurance like that?
I don't know, but I had it because I got married, had a husband, we was working, I didn't work. So I had insurance, but with Miss Pam Lee, I think the boss man paid it in Florida. Yeah, you know when you're picking cotton and stuff like that, and you're on the plantation, you get all your equipment from the boss man. On his property, and everything you get to do their property with, they pay for it, take it out your money at the end of the year. So my mother probably put me on a ticket, so we could pay for that too.
We on that, remember the name of it now, but the hairs, you know, great.
Sharecroppers?
That's it, that's it, Chef Roberts, so that's who paid for my first.
And for your other children, how did you pay for those?
I paid, I had insurance.
Insurance.
But I
Your
forgot the
husband,
name.
your husband worked for on the road.
My husband went out of town on the road, and he always, paid for that, for that insurance that he had.
What did he do on the road?
He drove a truck for asphalt paving company.
What else do you remember about the midwives that you knew? Was there anything that stood out in your mind about them?
The, she wore.
My auntie just told me, she'll take care.
Tell her
Because I
what
had
you
the
want.
insurance, I really don't know. But she said, I'll take care, so she got whatever she wanted.
Did they wear uniforms or
Auntie did.
what did the uniforms look like?
Just an old kind of sack. You know,
He made like a small,
made like a smock or something like that.
look like cow.
Something like that.
And she had one because the door found it in the truck.
No, it was all,
Torn and fall apart.
like this.
But you don't remember
I
that.
don't know about that.
Did the midwives travel a lot all over the area, or did they kind
Now,
of stay?
This Paley traveled all plantation, all around in Florida, all around down in them where my daughter-in-law them stayed in Madison. She, probably was in New City, but I know, because I don't know about that. She probably came to Jackson, I don't know about that. And so, but I know they gets up any time of night, to get that black bag, they come on out of there. And the brother was living right in my yard, so she had me come over there early.
What about other people that she knew? Did they come to her house?
She had a special room, she had 3 bedrooms, she had two rooms, that she took care of her patients in. And she had the other bedroom.
We can get a picture of that house. It still stands.
Oh, wow.
Someone living in it.
Her granddaughter lived in.
So she tried to have people come to her house to be delivered there, but she would also go to.
Yeah, she always get people to come to her house because she delivered thousands of children. A lot of times I went over there and assisted her with my babies in my house and we lived before I go and help out, like they would pass us some water, something like that, put on some more water in the kitchen. You have to have that boiled water and stuff like that.
Who was usually sent to tell her that she was needed? Was
Ooh, they called us.
And she was in the telephone
Oh,
agency.
okay.
That telephone agency.
But we didn't have telephone
We
back
didn't
then.
have telephone. I was in Florida.
And
So I
what-
wasn't even married then.
With the first one in Florida when you were 15, who went to tell the midwife?
My brother, he went to the main house.
With straw balls on the
Straw
plate.
balls on the plate.
Who
And
been in
he-
contact with the midwife.
So he took him over there. Him and James guy. Another guy, that black guy that lived over there by the boss man. My brother went to get somebody and got him. Boss man. And when I get you have to do it quick, keep from the patient being in a lot of pain. And we didn't live too far from it.
Right.
My brother brought run and walk till he got there.
Did the midwives, did they have any assistants? Were there people who helped them?
I ain't never seen nobody else come back. That's when I was just on there with auntie sometimes. I just do it for the fun. Just to be doing something. I'd take my, with my baby, I'd take him we walk over there. Then I say, I'll keep coming sometime while she gone back in the kitchen doing dinner and stuff, whatever she needs to do.
Did the midwife visit you after the child was born, or just for
All
the?
the time, I'm right in the yard. We talked all the time. I live in their backyard. House is sitting just like one thing.
And she kept those other people in her house more than one day. Like,
Oh, she gave them 3 or 4 days in my house before they go home.
Oh wow.
I used to stay over there with mine 3 or 4 days.
Did she have medicines or anything that she gave to you, or?
Not that I know of. I didn't know. That's what he said. And none of mine, I never take no medicine. You just had to stand that pain before that baby comes. You have to take that pain. That's some pain you have to take.
That's why I asked if there was anything that she may have given you for pain relief.
If you wanted any, you would go back and go to your house and get it afterward. She didn't have my food. You know how they go. You don't want to give nobody no medicine back then.
It's very different than the process of childbirth today.
But they give you a shot. Cut that pain down today, so they tell me they don't have as much pain today. I mean, they give you a kind of thing that shot or something. Epidural shot.
Anything else that you remember about the midwives that you knew, or anything that stands out about them?
Everything they did stood out about to me, because I couldn't want to. Because she said she had her own baby in the house. She told me that she had her own baby. She got pregnant. She went home with her mama. And when her mama come in the room, said she had the baby up in the bed. She said, get out of that bed like a cat. Nasty girl. Had that baby.
Was that two?
Uh-uh.
Oh, she got more
She
sisters.
had a son that died at 12 years old. Older than 3.
Okay. She was like a Miss Burton was like a pillar of that community.
Oh, yeah, church, school.
Talk about all the different things she did.
She went to church, she taught Sunday school, and she drove the Head Start program, her van, pick up children. And on Wednesday night, she had nothing to do but blow her home in that station wagon. Them children come running down there, pass by our house, and go into our house. And then she tell me, don't y'all load up. She take it to Bible way. And my nephew, mother lived next door. He come through in there, doing that, the Bible time doing it. And he could play a piano out the book. He got it with it.
So she was a very well respected.
Yes, everybody know. All you have to say, we go to Parker, they know all around to Madison, Florida, Kent, Jackson. She was well known. Well known.
She owned property too.
She owned that house. And her daughters tell grandchild time.
Yeah. She owned some more property outside.
Yeah, she owned the property, the house that you bought one time. But that was weird to her too.
She was real nice.
She's well known. And a very good person. Very lovely person. Lovely person.
I met went to her for information.
And her sisters, they ran next door to her. She had 10 children. And I bet she was midwife all 10 of them.
But you don't know that.
I don't know that because I had got married with the family at that time. When I got married, she had all her children. You know, double along there with my own husband.
Anything you remember about the process of childbirth with the midwife? I assume she's the one who cut the umbilical cord, who cleaned the baby.
Just come in there and wash her hands and wash the part where the baby don't come out and she ready to go.
Hot water, already boiling. She didn't have to have gloves at the time. Right? She wasn't using gloves.
Yeah, they were using gloves, I believe.
Okay.
Anything else you'd like to tell us, or that you think we need to know about the midwives you knew?
Right off my
But she kind of kept up with her children. Basically, a lot of the children she did.
a lot of children, yeah, she delivered. She always had somebody come visit her and come bring her stuff. And another thing, a lot of people she delivered the baby for nothing. A lot of people she did for probably chicken, sack of potato, stuff like that. A lot of them she did. She know them before they had the baby, they didn't have too much or whatever back then. And she did for nothing.
And you mentioned that for at least one of your babies, it was charged to the account of the landowner as part of your
Yeah,
sharecropping.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my first. That was none of my auntie. Those were auntie. After I got married, she was my other three.
Do you have any idea what the landowner charged you for that out of the shares?
About $25.
About $25.
I can't remember which one of the person I was talking to, but that was like a going fee.
And I don't know how much auntie charged me because she never told me she got this when she wanted, I guess. And I went again when she got, she get that baby. Woo! And she was my auntie too in marriage, you know. And anything I wanted, anything she thought I wanted, she did it to me. Anything she thought she could do for me, she did it. Even while she wasn't even waiting on me for no baby.
That's the kind of person.
That's the kind of person she was.
And all your children were born happy and healthy?
All of them. Happy. And then that first one, boy, I had to start walking at 8 months. He was going to come here weighing 10 pounds. You remember? Yeah. Walking 8 months old. Everybody loved my son. Everybody took my son away from me. Even when I got married, he took him away from me. I just let him have it. He spoiled right there. I spoiled him. Everybody come in contact with him spoiled. He spoiled right there. Ain't it?
Yeah, one of the reasons because he was such a healthy,
Healthy, jolly, loving baby. And I don't think, only thing he ever been in the hospital for was a car accident. And then one time he found out he was allergic to eggs and penicillin. That's the only time we went to the hospital. When 8 pounds, we big and healthy, muscle on that. Tall and big.
after you had your other babies on this further, were there times when you had to call her afterwards and that they had some kind of symptoms?
On one of them, that was West, the baby. He, they didn't ever tell me in the hospital what too much was wrong with him. He, was down on the floor, he was like kicking me in the car. And I couldn't figure out what was wrong with him, so I take him to the university. I first take him over there, and he was walking, laying out in the yard, about 2, 3 years old. And I grabbed him up to him, she said, rush him to the university hospital. And he stayed there a week. That's his wife right there.
And they never did tell you what was wrong with him.
No,
But later you found he had a heart problem.
the hard mode. And that runs into the Jackson family. Her sister's family. And, but when we got ready to play basketball, I took it to Dr. Britton, and he said he could play ball. And he played ball, won a scholarship, go to college. And then after that, he got, maybe 8, 9 years old. 8 or 9, 8, women married. They've been married 8 or 9 years ago. He went to the doctor and said he had to take some high blood pressure medicine. He was too fat. Got overweight.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You don't remember any complications from the birth?
Not damn one of my children, no complication. I didn't have no complication. Not from the birth.
For a midwife to deliver that many babies, there must have been complications at times. Did she do like she did you? And if there was any complication, were they sent to the emergency room or to a hospital or?
Never.
She doesn't know that.
I don't know nothing about the others. I don't think the others around me that she, in my neighborhood, they ain't never had no complications.
Because the neighborhood would know.
Me myself, I ain't had no complication with none of mine. But like coming from, my mother-in-law's side, that was my 18th sister. Her children had, easily get, infection, like, the heat you use, baby, you got that, from that ink, on that newspaper. And he was grown man, married, had 4 children. And that's all the problem.
What are the years that your 4 children were born?
I can't hardly remember. I know how old they is, but I forgot the years. I know West born 19. The last one born in 19, I believe 1960. Yoke was born 1960. The older. Wait, don't you remember that? 1960. I think so, but
But how old is he?
He's 56. And Weston the baby was born in 1964, I believe, or 65, something like that. 3 days before Christmas. That's all I can remember, but I didn't have no cake.
Okay, how old is he? Just give me the ages of the children, if you remember that.
Weston, Yoga is 56, and Howard is 8, 19. Howard 50 some, all of them, they make 50.
They came 1 year after another. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Just me.
we lost our dog, we had 3 boys, we lost him
Cancer.
to ovarian cancer. And she was 46 years old, in college. Married, down, had 2 or 3 homes.
Well, thank you very much. Anything else?
That's all I can think of right
Thank you both very much.
You like that.
now. You gonna be interviewed too.